I feel like whenever I leave for a while and then come back, I look different. This time, my hair and I have a piercing. So, welcome. Hi guys, welcome to another cute little chat. Oh my gosh, side note, tell me why I filmed one. The beauty wiping off line is cooler. It was like an hour-long video. I edited it. Why? While I was editing it, my computer deleted it. Computer deleted it. My footage broken. It was like corrupted or whatever. I couldn't even use it. Anyway, we are back with another cute little chat. And this time we are going to be talking about influencers, the rise and fall of influencer culture. Oh, influencer. I feel like I have a complicated relationship when it comes to influencers because I am an OG content creator, influencer, or consumer of content. I do judge newer content creators like a little harshly, so yeah. Anyway, I have my notes. So first, I have difference between influencer and content creator, because there is a difference, but I do believe we as a society, we kind of like use those interchangeably. An influencer is a person with the ability to influence potential buyers of a product or service by promoting or recommending the items on social media. What you see when you're scrolling on Instagram or TikTok, people that are like, oh hey, isn't this phone case cute? You should buy it. Content creator is someone who produces and distributes content such as text, images, videos, or audio for a specific audience, often online. They're responsible for the entire process, from ideation to execution and dissemination. Dissemination. We're close. Dissemination. So I feel like a content creator can literally be like anyone. A content creator basically is the person that makes the actual content. I consider myself a content creator. I film, I edit. I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. I just like making content. And then you have some people that don't really, they just turn on their camera and they try to sell you stuff. Those are influencers. I wouldn't call a lot of people influencers because for me personally, I believe a true influencer is someone that does not have to tell you to buy something. You just do it because of their influence. Going off track for a second. Perfect example is like Nicolandria or Alandria from Love Island. She is a influencer. Everything that she touches, that she uses, it sells out without her even saying anything. Her lip combo, she uses NYX. She casually stated in an interview, and after she said it, it sold out. And then when she did a collab with NYX, it sold out. So like, she is a influencer. She's not trying to be one, she is just one. Same thing with like Kardashians. They are influencers. They're influential. Whether you like them or not, they do influence social media. I don't know, like right now. I feel like the word content creator is like an umbrella of other subcategories. We have different types of content creators. We have social media influencers, bloggers, writers, podcasters, user-generated content creators. Now let's talk about my amazing background with content creating, or I'm actually an OG content creator. I know, you look at my page, all of my pages, you're like, are you? With your 2 followers, are you an OG content creator? I started making videos, at least on YouTube, 11 years ago. And even before YouTube, my mom bought me a camera and I would make like little vlogs basically. I remember my dad would be like at the barbershop, like, you know, cutting hair. And I used to record my siblings and I. This was like I had a theme song. This is my theme song. This is the Tati Show. I've always loved recording. I've always loved being creative. I've always loved editing. I've always loved being in front of the camera and also behind the camera. It's just something about creating content, being in charge of content, I've really enjoyed. Obviously, the on and off again is the reason as to why I am where I am at. And also, I don't think that it has been my time to be at a certain level, which is totally fine. So like, why did I start making content? Before YouTube, I just liked filming stuff. Okay, honestly, the shallow answer, because it is true, I like looking at myself. I've always had ideas in my head and I liked turning those ideas into videos. Or I would see other content creators like during that time, how can I kind of do their idea or use their idea as inspiration but also make it my own? When I actually started like filming videos, I had a lot of fun with it. I really liked fashion. I still do. I loved making up outfits. My style back then was like different, I guess. It was fun. Fashion, editing, recording, those things were my hobbies. I wanted to bring my hobbies online to connect with other people, to see if maybe we shared the same hobbies, and for some people we did, and I guess for some people we didn't. My inspiration for doing content, oh, what was her name? Living Like Lindsay, I believe. I used to watch her a lot. She used to vlog. I remember she was the one that actually like got me thinking that I could do content as a job. Okay, because back then it wasn't talked about a lot that these creators, YouTube was their job. It wasn't really talked about. Some people knew, most people didn't. And I remember the girl Living Like Lindsay, I think that's her name, but she mentioned how she like that was her job. And when I learned that, I was like, I could do this as a job. Like, are you freaking kidding me? I want this. Like, of course I want to be creative and get paid for it. Like, hello, why haven't I given up? I ask myself that question, or I used to, because obviously doing something for a long time, for most people it could most definitely discourage you, and you can think like, I guess I'm just not built for this, like this isn't for me, or like whatever the case may be. And I feel like I had times like that. I think like recently, because I am Christian, I think I look at it more so as like I wasn't ready. My priorities were like off. The content creators back then, or the influencers back then, they knew what they wanted to do, and they were going to do anything to make their dream possible. And I've never been in that headspace. Now I feel like I am. I took social media as just like a hobby, and I did it because it was fun and I liked it, and I didn't think of it as a job. But most content creators, they put their blood, sweat, and tears into their content. Back then, whether you agree with their content or not, the hustle was there. Their creativity, while some of it was offensive, it was there. Their dedication was there. I haven't given up because I like content. I like being creative. I like having a creative outlet. Even if I walk away from it for a few months or a year, I always find my way back. I believe that the Lord gave me the gift of content. Like, I honestly do. Content is easy to me. I know, again, you look at my channel and be like, you have 4 followers. It's because I don't really try. When I was trying, which was like what, 2023 or 2022, I was like going like full force with content. I got a lot of brand opportunities. I joined the creator program for TikTok really quickly. I gained a lot of followers really quickly. I had 2 videos to reach 1 million. I know I can do well with content because I've done it before. So that's why like I don't take the fact that like I haven't made it yet as like a bad thing, is because I know that I haven't been applying myself like seriously when it comes to content. And you would think that would have like set like a fire under my butt to like post more, get more videos out. I've posted less. I always take breaks on my YouTube channel. I always vanish on Instagram and TikTok. Even I had my primary TikTok page, and then I made a secondary TikTok page just to like post like random stuff. I didn't make the page to get followers. I just made it to like, you know, I can like use audios and look cute. But then I started using it to talk about Love Island, and I'm gaining quite a few followers from that, and I've been able to speak and interact with brands, and brands follow me. So it's like, know how to build an audience with content creating. I just don't apply myself, and that is for a number of reasons. There is some fear, there is some imposter syndrome in there. Luckily I have unlearned all of that stuff. I don't do content to be successful. to gain like 1 million followers so that everyone knows my name and everyone can follow me, and like, you know, I'm the most popular girl. And like, I don't do content for that. I do it because I am a creative person. This brain, this head is always filled with so many ideas, and I need an outlet to place these ideas. That's why I haven't given up, and I won't ever give up. Even if like no one ever sees my content, even if like each of my videos get like 0 views, I'm still gonna make content. I've always said I am my biggest fan. I make my content for myself. The world just has the luxury of viewing it too. And obviously there's been moments where I have like messed up, because like I'm human. You see people whose content may not look as good as yours, but they get like millions of views and so many opportunities, and a part of me will always be like, what the hell? I have to like talk myself back as to, but remember why we're doing this. It's not because we want X, Y, and Z. It's because the Lord has gifted you with this creativity and he's allowing you to use it this way. That was a long answer, but that's the reason. That's why I haven't given up. It's because I love it. And that should be most, if not all, creators' mindset about doing content, is you should be doing it because you genuinely love it, not just for a paycheck. Sorry, I'm hugging my bear. My grandmother gave me this bear. Isn't it cute? Her name is Joni Rose. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is relatability versus authenticity, and why it matters so much right now. We're in a weird time when it comes to influencers, especially because I was on TikTok I think like last week, and I've been seeing so many videos of people kind of trying to turn on influencers, and I think it's really interesting. What does being relatable even mean?
They're not even like relatable anymore.
I can't relate to her.
Relatable means enabling a person to feel that they can relate to someone or something. Authentic, made or done in a traditional way. Someone who is authentic may not be relatable to you, and that's okay. I believe that society uses authenticity and relatable interchangeably, and that doesn't work. Because yeah, someone who is authentic may not be relatable to you. Like, who's authentic? I don't know. A lot of people are fake on social media. I'll use myself as an example. My authentic self, I'm pretty boring. I don't really do too much. I don't go to the club. I'm not a partier. I'm really not. That's my authentic self. If someone were to ask me, oh my gosh, you wanna go to a club? Do you wanna like go like drink and take shots and like I will be like, no, I don't want to. Someone who does like going to the clubs and who does like getting drunk, and you know, they'll be like, I don't relate to you because I like doing those things. You see how that doesn't work out? Someone's like, I can't watch her because I can't relate to her because she's not being authentic. And it's like, well, no, but I am though. I am relatable, just not to you. Or you might think that I'm not authentic because you don't relate to one another. Do you see how all this is like confusing? That's how it sounds on TikTok. So basically they want their authenticity, not yours. They have this idea how you should be, how you should respond, and when you don't match their level of authenticity that they have set for you, they get offended by that. I never crave content creators or whatever to be authentic because I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like on them. For content creators and celebrities, no matter how much they show you, you still don't know the real them. You still won't know unless you were in like their circle, like deep. Even myself, I am boring. That is true. You guys won't ever know how I like the ins and outs of my personality unless you knew me like in person. When people are like, I want these content creators to be authentic, I'm like, you should watch what you ask for, because a lot of these content creators and celebrities authentically are not good people. Then what? I know. Or in some cases they are authentically themselves, but you want them to be the version that you have made up of them in your head, and that's not fair. Because I'm blank, I won't be popular. But people assume that you have to be one way to be successful as a content creator, and I do understand, especially looking at content now, how everything does look the same and everything has like a category or like a formula to follow to be a certain type of content creator. I refuse to follow that. I refuse. That's why when I hear people say, well, because I'm this, I won't ever be popular. Because I don't do Pilates, I won't be popular. Because I don't shop at Aritzia and I don't whatever, I won't be popular. And that's not true. There is an audience for everyone. As long as you're being yourself, there are people out there looking for you. And those moments when my insecurity tries to like show its face as like, you're boring, you don't do much, you go to Korean class, you're in your house a lot, you crochet, you freaking granny. I want to see people like Tara, like who's DJing, who's going out, who's clubbing, who's bartending. I love Tara, by the way. I can't do that. I'm not gonna make myself become a version of myself that people want to see just because I want views. Like F that. I don't care if I'm popular or not. I want to be myself, no matter if my videos, I don't know. I'm so glad I have released that idea of I have to be like X, Y, and Z to be popular. I promise you, as long as you are yourself, there is an audience for you. Will it take some time, especially if you don't follow the formula of content creating? It may take a while, but if you enjoy doing content and making videos and this is your passion and your hobby, it wouldn't matter, right? What I will say, everyone wants to relate to content creators or to influencers or to celebrities, and I don't know why, because we're not all called to relate to one another. And me personally, I don't want to relate to a lot of people because why? I don't know. This weird desperation for false connection is really blowing my mind. Even if the content creator is lying, but if it sounds good to them and it gives them a sense of like you relate to them, then they'll cling on to it. And I'm like, no. But I also don't really watch a lot of like content creators. That's probably it too, because newer content creators, I can't really get with them a lot of the times because again, their content is very similar to one another. I wish audience members would stop demanding content creators to be relatable. I see it all the time when the content creator is entering a new tax bracket and you know their vlogs may change, or like where they eat may change, or like the clothes that they buy may change. Their audience automatically says like, I can't relate to you anymore. I can't relate to you, so I can't watch you anymore. And I remember back in the Disney, we didn't really care if we can relate to you. I mean, it was great if we related to the people that we watched, and if we did, it was like kind of on the level of like we related personality wise, not where you lived or how you lived or like how small or big your house was, if you were poor or not. It was more so like humor or personality, sometimes even looks. But now people want their life to kind of match your life in a sense. And if you change as a content creator, the audience feels they punish you by saying, well, I can't relate to you, I don't watch your content anymore, or your content needs to change, or you should go back to what you were doing because I don't get it. I'll be like, I don't care. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna be getting on consumers a lot, not really the influencers. You choose who you want to watch. And if you don't want to watch certain people because they don't feel authentic to you, then don't watch them. Don't stop trying to punish influencers for decisions that you have made by supporting them. But yeah, authenticity, I don't demand that from people. If I do watch newer content creators, I'll watch them for a second and I'll kind of like see how I feel about them. And if I feel as though they're not being authentic, then I don't watch them. Fans are not always right. Parasocial, yikes. Okay, listen. I did say I was gonna be getting on the fans a lot because I'm a fan, okay? I get you, I understand you. I feel as though I have enough credit to speak on this topic. Unrealistic expectations. People can't live up to standards they never agreed to. Right now, more than ever, in the great year of 2025, the audience, the consumer, has placed these crazy expectations onto influencers that I will never understand. I do not understand the levels at which you guys are holding these people up to. Of a creator that I saw, and she was speaking about how you will not get authenticity back from content creators until the audience stops holding content creators up to this impossible standard.
We're never gonna get authenticity back from content creators, and we're never gonna get quality, genuine, heartfelt content back again until we stop holding influencers to a higher standard than we hold people in real life too. The reason that we have an epidemic of completely boring and personality-less influencers is because of the audiences and their expectations of people to never exhibit a flaw, never have a bad take, never wear a bad outfit. And until we start to accept that people are flawed, and that's like part of the charm, especially genuinely creative people who should be in charge of making content and creating content, we're gonna be stuck watching The Summer I Turned Pretty and Alex Earl, and everything that we consume becoming so completely boring and devoid of personality, and yet people still are unhappy. You're unhappy because you're craving authenticity. You're unhappy because you're craving connection to these people that you refuse to connect with, because in order to connect with somebody, you need to see them as a person.
I agreed and I also disagreed, because while that is true, the audience, they hold purity politics, but like now it's like purity freaking content creating. You can't have a different opinion. You can't say this, you can't say that. If you don't address your audience, telling them about every single issue in the world, then you're hateful, you're a phobic. It is crazy, and it does have content creators boring. A lot of content creators feel as though they can't express themselves freely without someone getting offended. And I'm not talking about serious topics like racism. The girl that made the video, she said she did an apology video because she didn't like a TV show. What are we doing here? And while I do agree, the audience is crazy, I think I commented under that video. I also was like, the reason why unrealistic expectations are happening is because the influencer, the content creator, is allowing it.
We are living in the golden age of, how can they make this about me? And frankly, I am so exhausted.
The way we defeat this, by the way, is by bullying these people. Which sounds cruel, but it's the truth. You have to bully these people or refuse to engage. Post-pandemic internet is a very different world than pre-pandemic internet. Because people could not go out and socialize, many of those people being children in their formative years who now occupy these apps, an unbelievable amount of the public never developed appropriate etiquette or social skills. Not only did people develop the worst personalities imaginable in terms of how mean they've gotten, a byproduct of congregating in Reddit forums, Twitter threads, and hot take TikTok where that behavior is rewarded, but they also developed a self-centered obnoxiousness and hypersensitivity where everything exists in comparison to them. The way we defeat it is by no longer rewarding it. Do not over-explain yourself to these people. Do not clarify things that were clear to those with critical thinking skills, comprehension capabilities, and so on and so forth. Do not apologize for people offending themselves by misunderstanding you or failing to grasp that not everything has to appeal to or align with them. Do not appease these people. It's time to bring some standards back. Make it clear, as it used to be, that there is a required level of comprehension, logic, and reasoning ability to exist in shared spaces.
Content creators now, they allow their audience to bully them, and I don't understand it. For the life of me, I do not understand, especially when you have the means to block, to delete, to turn off comments. I know some content creators, they relish in the negativity, like they like it because it drives up engagement. Bad press is still press, so it's still good press. I don't understand. I've always said, if I was like a bigger content creator or like an influencer, some people might not like me because I would never let people bully me. You cannot bully me to believe anything. If I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. If I don't like a show, I don't like a show. Oh, that happened to me actually. I was watching Love Island season 7. I made a video on my other TikTok page and I said that who's gonna be the breakout stars of this season. I want to talk about something really quick. I saw a post a creator made and she was basically wondering like who's gonna be like the breakout stars of this season. I believe Shelly, Alandria, Nick. I was like going through comments, just like reading everyone's responses just to see like what people were saying. A lot of people were saying Amaya, and a lot of people were saying Huda, and that had me thinking about how people equate follower count to success and longevity in like the entertainment business. Some brands will work with people that have like a low following count. What is actually more important is your genuine influence, like your fan base. That is actually like probably the most important thing, whose fans will kind of follow them, not blindly, but who will literally buy whatever they are trying to promote. Of course, that reminded me of Nick Landria because in the beginning of this this whole saga before they even like really got together. Whatever they're on, we will buy. People already bought shirts and merch for a couple that wasn't even a couple yet. So that is what brands look to, which is why Nicolandria is already getting support from brands. That's why a whole bunch of football teams and GQ and like Vogue, they're already trying to attach themselves to Nicolandria because they are aware of how dedicated their fan base is to supporting them. We will probably do anything. Another thing is brands also look at people's fan base. Brands do not want to be surrounded, some brands, because some brands don't care, which is like interesting, but a lot of brands want to surround themselves with a product, a person that has a dedicated, friendly, welcoming fan base who have money. The Islander has like 1 million followers, doesn't mean that a brand will reach out to them, because if you have 1 million followers yet your fan base, they don't really support you like money wise, what are you like, what good are you to the brand? Stan culture is so weird now that people will just follow you because they don't want other people to get big, and then once a month or two goes by, they don't really care about you. The follow is not important, it's the engagement, the genuine engagement. I believe that a lot of these Islanders from Casa, from the OGs, whatever, they don't have that pull of people ready to take out their pocketbook and pay for anything, like for more content, unlike Nicolandria. I said Ace Shelley and Nicolandria, and I didn't say anyone else, and people were angry. They were so angry. How dare you? You're delusional, you're biased. Like, people were angry in my comments. And I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I was speaking to some people because I would respond back to like a few comments, not negative comments, but just like, you know, whatever. And this one girl, she kept on trying to get my attention. She kept on commenting when I was speaking to other people, and she was like,
I just don't understand why you didn't say Huda. She was like, mind you, I don't like Huda either, but you can't deny that she was
just going off. And I wish I would have screenshotted it because she deleted her comment. I commented and I was like, you guys want me to say something that I don't agree with. I was like, if Huda becomes, and mind you, I wasn't even hating on anyone. I was just like, I don't think they're gonna be like, you know, the most popular person, which again, I was right. I commented and I was like, you guys want me to say something and I don't agree with it. I was like, if Huda becomes the most popular content creator, celebrity to ever walk this planet, like, that is great, that's good for her. I was like, but I don't have to believe it. So I'm not gonna change my thought process to make you guys feel better. We can agree to disagree. I was like, so have a nice day. And then she didn't respond, and then she deleted her comment. Your platform as an influencer, as a content creator, is yours. This is a dictatorship up in this bitch. These newer content creators, they fold really easy under pressure. I'll give them grace, because I can only imagine how challenging it is to have a mass load of people in your comments saying vile things about you, maybe being in like your family and friends comment section. So I do understand that, and I do know that fans today are different. However, I think fans are this way because the content creators have okayed this behavior. They have allowed people, the fans, to place them at this, like, on this pedestal, and they've allowed fans to place unrealistic expectations on them. And when the fans get angry, they're just like, oh, I'm sorry. No, you let me not like a show. I just don't like it. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to me? I don't like a show, and I don't have to like a show. I don't have to. Marsha, the classic You've Changed. Yes, I've talked about that before. When you move out of that fans made up world that they had you in, they hit you with the You've Changed. I don't really hear that anymore, like with fans now, I think. But back in the day, Remy, oh my gosh, Remy Mos Def. I remember when she lost all her weight the first time, and you know, she was working out, being cute, Soul Cycle. I wanted to be a Soul Cycle girly so much because Remy was one, but people hit her with the You Changed. People evolve, which means they won't stay the same, so you shouldn't expect them to, obviously. I never understood like the idea of like punishing creators and or celebrities when they reach a certain level of success, because that's how I imagine it. When you tell creators you've changed, it's normally because they've reached another level of success, which means that more of them is required in other areas, which means more fans. I remember what happened. Hosier. I used to have a Reddit. I don't have Reddit anymore, but I used to be on Reddit and I was on like a Hosier page, and people were really upset that he had another tour this year, and they were judging him and they were being really hateful in the Reddit thread. And I made this a long post because the success of his song Too Sweet, it launched him into another level of fame. Mind you, Hosier was already successful. He was already like a millionaire. He was having a moment where even more people knew his name. Even more people were like asking more of him. Mind you, I'm a part of the old fan base, but to the old fan base, they were upset that he was giving into capitalism. And I was like, oh. The one thing I do remember me saying is that song that he released was a massive hit. It is giving him way more opportunities to do X, Y, and Z. Why would he not keep on performing and strike while the iron's hot? Why would he take a break right now when he is needed and desired so much? And people were just like, no, he changed. Now he's just like everyone else. He's not like, he used to do concerts like for cheap, and now he's just, and I was like, why are you punishing him for getting success? I was like, that's so weird. No, it was so weird. But yeah, that reminded me of the whole you've changed. And yes, some people, they do evolve. People are meant to change. Not everyone is meant to stay the same. If I, God willing, become a massive creator or whatever, I don't think I'll change too much. I think the only thing that will change is probably like I'll post more. If I do end up like changing, yeah, because I have to. When you're walking into new rooms, more things are required from you. You do have to change. Like, I don't share that much about my life in general on like online, but let's just say that I did, and God willing, I became this like massive whatever, I would stop sharing certain things about my life. And that's just me evolving into the rooms that I'm currently in. I'm evolving with my new status that I'm at, I guess I'll say. As long as like creators don't evolve into like a horrible person, which some of them do, then I wouldn't really be upset. And even if like they did evolve, not like a bad person, but just to a person that I don't really want to watch anymore, then like that's fine. I don't look at content creators as like my own personal entertainment. I look at them as just people wanting to share their love for a hobby or a topic, and I like that hobby or topic as well, so I just choose to watch you. A lot of creators, not creators, a lot of consumers now have this level of entitlement of like, well, because I watch you, you should be moving how I want you to move. Hello, bitch, what? I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. I would be like, who the F are you talking to? Oh yeah, creators don't owe you anything. Yes. So using the term, they wouldn't be anything without us. We made you who you are. Those are the most, I've never disliked two statements before in my life. When fans say that about their favorite influencer, content creator, or celebrity, it really annoys me because it discredits all the work that the content creator and or influencer or celebrity has done to get to that level of success. Whether you deem it as work or not, they still did something to get to that level of success. So how dare you like minimize that? In the same breath, you need fans, obviously. There is truth to that statement. However, I look at the relationship between a fan and a celebrity, content creator, influencer as like a business transaction. The creator, they are giving you content, they're giving you art, they're giving you music, they're giving you movies, they're giving you etc. You as a fan, because you like that person, you like their art, you like their movies, you willingly watch their stuff. You willingly are giving them money. You willingly make edits and post about them because you like their stuff. In exchange for your like, they give you more content. So it is a give and take relationship. Some fans, they treat people as if their work means nothing. Creators, influencers are not making you watch their stuff. They're not making you make edits. They're not making you follow them. They are merely doing their content, and you as the consumer, you make the decision if you want to follow, if you want to support, if you want to buy. That is your decision. And for some fans, they get bitter And I don't know why. Well, I know why. It's entitlement. They feel like, well, because I do this for you, you owe me. And it's like, actually, I don't owe you anything. I've given you things already. I have given you content. I have posted on Instagram. I have made a YouTube video. I've already paid you back for your transaction. Does that make sense? I don't see it too often, but creators, if they ever say like, I don't need you, I don't need you to watch me, I don't need you to follow me, that is very dangerous, because you do need fans. You do need people that like you and that like your content and that like your art, because without fans, people wouldn't know who you are. You both need and want each other, but I hate when the power dynamic shifts and the fans feel that they get that level of entitlement of like, well, you have to do this. You have to tell me everything about your life because I watch your videos. It doesn't work that way. You're a fan because you are choosing to be a fan. No one, not the artist, not other fans, no one's making you be a fan, if that makes sense, which it should. Yeah, that's like weaponizing your support. I don't really like that. It's really weird. The perfect balance of private and public. No, we don't have to know everything. Oversharing doesn't equal to being relatable and authentic. Get a diary. Okay. That one is more so for influencers. Yeah, the perfect balance between public and private. I feel like right now a lot of influencers, they have lost the art of what it means to be private about things. Now everyone thinks everything is content. Everything. Your trauma is content. Your anger is content. Your racist thoughts is content. And that is really unfortunate and it's really dangerous. But on the less extreme level of like even influencers just sharing like what their kids look like or their kid's birthday or marriage issues, things of that nature, I for the life of me will never understand. And honestly, just people on the internet as well, people that, you know, aren't necessarily content creators or influencers, even they share those private moments about their life with strangers on the internet. And I do not understand. I'm like, we really need to bring back diaries, inside thoughts. I don't think people know the difference between public and private, which is why when certain content creators do want to keep things private, they get met with backlash. They get met with frustration and sometimes even anger from a fan base. Like, how dare you be private about your personal business? How dare you not want to share who you're dating, when did you get together, why did you break up, when your marriage, your wedding, your child's face, where'd you get your jeans from? Everyone has placed this pressure on each other of you have to be sharing your every thought and opinion, and that is not true. We should go back to not stating some opinions about things and gatekeeping. I love when people have their relationships kind of private, because that shows, in my opinion, that like this relationship is more sacred. I'll show you sometimes, like I'll post a picture of us together, or I might do a video of us being cute, but I would never share the ins and outs of my relationship with complete strangers, because that, for me, I don't have respect for my relationship. This lady I just saw on TikTok, she was like, my husband and I, we got into a disagreement, we're arguing right now because this, and I was just like, why are you allowing? And people were commenting, saying, some people were being really rude, saying their own opinions about her relationship and da-da-da, and she would get offended, and I'm like, well then why are you sharing the ins and outs of, I don't know. I appreciate when creators, celebrities, whatever, are more private with their relationship. Oversharing doesn't equate to being relatable and authentic. As for everyone, but mainly content creators, I think we have watered down the word relatable, because sometimes the audience will excuse gross behavior in the name of being relatable and authentic. Some people only like it because they see themselves in that content or in that situation. There's a lady that I think she had dirty diapers around her house. I remember when she first came out, some people was like, oh my gosh, that's disgusting. And of course they got hated for it. They're like, how dare you attack her, like this, I do this too. She's just being her authentic self. And then we find out that she was actually really gross. The way she was treating her children allegedly wasn't the best. Just because something is authentic doesn't mean that it is correct. There is a content creator on TikTok that I do not care for. I have this one thing that I despise most in the world is a bad parent. I don't like when parents mistreat children. And there's a TikTok creator who is a bad parent in my eyes. I see people praise them. I see people love them. The comments I see is like they're being so relatable. Like they're authentic selves. I love that. Is this like what we're aiming for now? Like do you need authenticity at any cost, even if their behavior is like detrimental to the others around them? And then even like when some people like share things online, I'm just like, get a diary, like get a diary. People are trying so hard to be authentic and like relatable, instead of just being who they are, just coming as you are, not with crazy stories or like weird gross behavior, but just being yourself and seeing and waiting until your audience finds you. Posting without thinking, yes, that is like all that TikTok is really. It's just a lot of people posting. I see so many, I guess, creators telling other people like,
Just post, just get your content out, just post a million times. You have to keep on posting
to get to where you want to be. And while that is true, it's also not true, because if you're posting and you have nothing to say, people aren't going to want to watch you. Whenever I do post a video or think about filming a video, I always make sure I am saying something. You should think a little bit before you post. I think that's why we have so much like interesting content nowadays, is because people do not think before they post stuff. Okay, the art of selling. I believe, again, these newer content creators, they do not understand the art of selling. They think an influencer's job is literally just to be like, I like this iPhone, buy it. I don't recall older content being so blatant about their desire for you to buy what they're promoting, but now it's just like there is no passion behind when they are selling things. Like they are only doing it for the sake of like a check. I also think that's because of how popular being an influencer is now, and because brands and companies are starting to recognize just how beneficial influencers and content creators are for their marketing and for their businesses. Like the influencers, they don't really have to like be creative when it comes to like trying to sell you things. They just have to be like, yeah, love this really good yummy Coca-Cola, like you should get one. Look at this iPhone, I can hear them so clearly, so good. Look at the camera, love it, you should buy one. I think at least back then creators tried to still evoke some of their creativity in their sponsorships, but now it doesn't really feel that way. And I honestly think it's because of their lack of emotion, and you can tell that they don't use the products that they are trying to sell you. Back then they would just lie a little bit better, but now they don't want to even try to convince you that they use these products, so they're going to get paid either way, which is why I will always say that older content creators are way better than these newer content creators, because there was more feeling in their art meaning their videos or their pictures. Now everything is just so stale. People do the bare minimum. They copy and paste what they see another content creator do, and then they just sell it to you. It's not pleasing to watch. Again, older content creators, I feel as though a lot of the times it wasn't so like in your face that they were selling you stuff, because most of the time, because we enjoyed the content creators so much, we would be asking them, what is that? What are you using? Where can I buy that? Do I need that? Yeah, I need that. Then after like fans would like, you know, be praising them and like, you know, questioning them so much, then brands would notice, brands would reach out, they would do a collab, we buy, they sell out, and the cycle continues. Now it's like fans aren't even like asking, because the creator's already forcing it. Go to my Amazon storefront, the link is in there, go there, go here. It's so yummy, it's so pretty, and it's like, oh my gosh. I'm not easily swayed or pressured or persuaded to like buy or do something. I would really only do it if I genuinely like the person. Like Nick and Alandria, I have purchased almost, if not everything that they have been tied to, because I love them so much. No matter what it is, I'm gonna buy it. I saw that Angel Reese sent her some of her shoes. I'm not a tennis shoes girly, and I was really about to buy me a pair just because Olandria had some. Followers doesn't equal success. You can have a massive following, yet your followers don't trust you enough to buy what you're selling. Followers doesn't equal influence anymore. I need influence to sell things. That is the genuine problem that we have with content creators and influencers right now. I feel like back in the day, crap would be selling out left and right when certain content creators would just like mention or hint at them liking something. Now it's so normalized, influencers liking things, and then what they're liking isn't even like anything like revolutionary. It's the same thing. Oh my gosh, this top from Aritzia, I love it. And then you swipe, and another influencer with the same top is like, I love it, it's so cool, like use my code. I think that's the difference too, is because so many content creators back then, I mean, you had like your core group that kind of did the same content, but even like their stuff was still kind of like different. Now influencers are a copy and paste of one another. If you're trying to tell me to buy something, I might already have it because so-and-so told me to buy it too, which is why the more your fans are dedicated to you, hence like them spending money buying, selling out things that you like, the more brands would want to work with like your favorite influencer. Again, Nicolandria. The power that Nick and Ola hold right now is crazy, and brands acknowledge that. They see that, which is why on TikTok and on Instagram, other brands are in their comments trying to infiltrate that Nicolandria world, because they know if we work with them, money comes with them. There's people that have a bigger follower count than Nick and Ola, yet their fan bases aren't selling out anything. I think now with content creators or influencers, their influence is not genuine because most of them don't really sell out a lot of things, unlike how it used to be back in the day. New influencers are boring and entitled. I feel like I have beef with new content creators. I don't think I have beef with them per se. Coming from like the beginning of content creation, and I know that if you're asking someone now, the content back then was problematic, it was horrible, and like I get it, but one thing I will never deny is the content creators back then, there was like life behind their content. Whether you agree with like what they were doing or not, it was fun, it felt genuine. They had problems, but it just feels there was life behind it. Now everything is so lifeless. It's just so I'm not a fan of it. And a lot of creators now are so entitled. Curated content versus lifestyle. Curated content is basically you creating a life for social media. Obviously it's fake, but they are not trying to sell you real life. They are selling a fantasy, a dream, a movie, an escape of the dullness reality sometimes gives us. I call her Paris Girl. I saw her on Instagram, but a lot of her videos are curated. So her accidentally like dropping a scarf, and then a handsome man picks it up, and then they chat, like that stuff. That is her content, and people watching her, I hope they know that this is not real. I am not watching you to get real life lifestyle content. I'm watching you to look at pretty things that make me feel good, and like that's fine. They're like walking magazines in a sense. And then you have lifestyle content. Lifestyle was once just that, how you lived. Of course, because I'm skeptical, I knew they overdid some parts of their life to make it pretty, but they kept it closer to real life to offer the feeling of authenticity to their audience. Obviously, the Queen Alicia Marie, Remy, Ava, Bethany Moda, and now it's just different. Watching Alicia Marie, she is the queen of vlogging. She created Vlogmas, and her video used to be about her going to Target, her going to Starbucks, her going to Lemonade, the annual freaking Big Bear trip. Obviously, I remember she stated that she used to live where I live, I believe. Her and Remy, they're from, I think, where I'm from. Alicia said she and her friend, or she and her sister, used to drive like an hour away to go to Lemonade. But judging by her video, you would think that it was close. You would think that she lived in LA during those times because of how she did her videos. While some parts, most stuff were over exaggerated, it was still closer to real natural life, which is why they called it lifestyle content. Morning routines and nighttime routines, and what do I eat in a day. Bethany Moda, the queen of getting ready for school, my morning school time routine or whatever. Come to find out, she was homeschooled. Now people try to make curated content like it's lifestyle, which is why I believe there is a disconnect. People are extremely over exaggerating their content, and they're just like, oh, this is just like every day. And it's like, no, it's not. And maybe I noticed it, that's like my superpower and also my kryptonite. I like my blessing of knowing about content, but I also dislike it sometimes because it makes enjoying content and consuming content not that enjoyable. Because I can tell when things are fake, and that falls on the influencer. I really wish creators were living in their truth, living in their right now. Stop trying to fake a life for social media because of what your peers are doing. Like me, my situation right now, I am unemployed and I live at home with my parents. I'm not gonna make you guys believe that I live in this apartment in a freaking penthouse in LA. Like, I'm not gonna create a life just to make you guys think that I'm this cool iconic queen. I'm already that. I wish more creators thought that way, but instead they want to fit in this perfect influencer box of like going to Pilates, going to hot yoga, getting my matcha, and then going to Aritzia, and then they want to do that instead of just like being themselves, because a lot of them feel as though if they're not that, people won't watch them. And even the people that complain about influencers doing that, they still in the same breath are trying to be like the people that they claim to not like. It's just, it's too much. It's too much. Hobby and passions is better than popularity and exposure. You will be boring if you don't investigate what you're passionate about. Striving to be popular will have you doing the same thing everyone else is doing to remain in the light, which can equate to stale content. Why does everyone want to make content? How can you all influence anyone if you're all doing the same thing? There is like this influencer box that a lot of people want to fit in. So even if it does not line up with their current personality and or current lifestyle, they will do anything and everything to fit in that box to sell you this life that they're not currently living. It's not even really like influencing, it's kind of just like copy and pasting, because you're not doing or saying anything different than the next person. And again, I don't fault them too much because people want to be content creators so badly, they will force themselves into molds just to get to, like, you know, whatever level they're trying to get to. That is why I don't look at many of these people as genuine influencers, is because they're not really influencing anyone. Like, one person that I can say, and not only that she's trying to influence anyone anymore, but Emma Chamberlain, when she was like at her peak and she was influencing people and they were like supporting and buying and selling out stuff, and then she changed, I guess. She took on a different look, one that she feels more comfortable with, that feels truer to her, and people were like, what the heck? What the heck is this? So it's like when she went against like that box that a lot of influencers are in, and she went her own route, people were trying to turn on her. But I love that she stood 10 toes down and like, this is me, this is what I feel comfortable with. Her Coachella looks, I thought I liked them. I feel like I've worn those outfits before, but a lot of people were like, what the heck is this? Why are you wearing that? I miss the old Emma when you did it up. They missed her when she fit in that influencer box. Now that she's being her authentic self, people are just like, I don't get it. But I think a lot of people want to make content now because they think that it's easy. They think that being a creator is like a walk in the park, and it really isn't. It honestly isn't. I think that's also that's the current issue that I'm seeing with people kind of like attacking influencers. And I was like, darn it guys, you're making me stand up for influencers, like these new ones, and it's so annoying. I've been seeing like they're getting way too much money. They have way too much money. They're getting free stuff, and it's horrible. It's bothering me. They're waving their wealth in our face or whatever. Whenever that phrase comes up, I always find it so funny, because I'm like, why are you focusing on regular people doing a job, whether you think it's a job or not, it is, and they're making X amount of money? Why are you not looking at our politicians? the people that genuinely affect our law. Influencers, they don't do anything. They're there because you made them get there. You brought them there. People think that going to parties, going to showrooms, going to little influencer shindigs and hanging out with friends is all that influencing entails, because that's all that you see, which I understand that. But from like a business side, influencers are like walking like billboards for brands, and they are, no matter how much you're getting paid, they are still cheaper than using actual celebrities. There's a lot of work that entails making these sponsored videos for brands. It's not just like, it's not as easy as people like think. And I'm not comparing it to a 9-to-5 because you can't. It's like comparing apples and oranges. You can't compare these two jobs. But if you've never done influencing or content creating, then you wouldn't understand the difficulties that come with that job. Same thing as like a person that has not worked a 9-to-5. You cannot understand the difficulties that come with a 9-to-5 job. When I worked with this brand twice, the first time because they give you like a period of like, you know, we need the video, we need your rough draft around like this time, and then we need the final draft, can you edit this way, da da da. And the first time I had like, you know, a pretty like long period to like make the video and like send in their draft and edit and all that stuff. And the second time they gave me, my deadline was a lot shorter. Like they gave me a day, and I had to think of a concept, I had to film it, I had to like edit it, I had to travel to somewhere to do it, and it took me a lot. It took a lot out of me. And just think about doing that, but like you have 5 of them in a week, and they're all demanding X, Y, and Z from you, but you also have to do stories, and then you also have meetings, and then like I feel like a lot of it, and I'm sorry if this sounds gross, I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings, but I feel like a lot of the attack on influencers right now is kind of filtered through jealousy, through envy, because right now you have a clear view of the life of these people. Before you didn't really get to see that much, but now you can see everything. And because influencers share so much, you know how much they're making, when they're getting paid, what exactly are brands paying for. Like you guys know the ins and outs of certain creators like life, and I think that ignites some envy in people. I saw it a lot during Coachella this year, when I believe Revolve or Dyson, they had this like showroom where they had this room that a lot of influencers were able just to go in and get a bag full of free stuff. Like they give you a tote, you walk around and you just pick out whatever you want and put it in your bag and go, and it was free. And they were giving out Dysons, and people were so upset. And the current thing that has made people upset is the velvet caviar phone cases, where they gifted influencers phone cases and iPhones, and people were upset by it. Why do they get free stuff? It is because they themselves, they are a walking billboard for that brand. They know that some of these influencers, they have pull, and brand or their fans will buy whatever they are promoting or whatever they have. So that's why they are investing so much into influencers. Is it fair? Yes, because a lot of influencers, whether I agree with their content or not, they're doing the work that the brand is entailing. I'm telling you, it is a lot of work. It really is. Working with brands is not as simple as one may think. And but I also don't fault viewers too much, because you don't know. A lot of people do not understand the way that the marketing industry works, so they kind of just speak from emotion. But I do believe a lot of it is you know, from envy, because in the same breath, because I've seen a few videos where they're kind of like mad at influencers. In the same breath, I'll go to their page and they're trying to do what influencers are doing. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Give me to X followers. The content creating space it's so different. Back then it was more about your hobbies, your passions. They post and then they expect people to like, to watch, to follow their stuff, and when they don't, they get annoyed. I've seen so many creators say, I make my content but no one watches, so what's the point of even making it? Like, you guys watch this content but you don't watch that content. Like, you guys need to watch the, it's like, it's so that's why I say entitlement of, I'm doing this for you, so you should watch it. So when my numbers are low, y'all better go rack up those numbers. And it's really off-putting. When I was really into K-dramas a lot, there was a creator that said something like that. She was making YouTube videos about K-dramas, and I guess she wasn't getting the success that she wanted quick enough, and she made a video like, you guys aren't watching my stuff, like, why? What's the point of me even making this if no one's watching it? And I was like, oh gosh, I'm not used to that. I think when creators do that, when creators are begging for followers or tap the screen to get me to X, Y, and Z, give me a galaxy. When people are, back then as a content creator, you didn't have to make people support you. They just did it because they liked what you were putting out on the internet. Now it's just everyone with their hand out, waiting for like exposure and popularity, and then when they get that, they have nothing to say. And I'm just like, okay. To say that so many people hate the Kardashians, and mind you, I'm not a fan of the Kardashians like that. Say that everyone does not care for the Kardashians. A lot of people strive to be like the Kardashians, where they just want to be successful and popular just because of who they are. I honestly believe half of the creators that are out do not have genuine influence. Whenever I say that, it reminds me of this lady on TikTok. I don't remember her name, but on TikTok she had a lot of followers, like I think over 1 million followers, and she wanted to have a meet and greet at one of the conventions. She made bracelets and everything because she was really excited to like meet, you know, her followers, and unfortunately no one showed up. And I remember when that happened, obviously like that's horrible for her. To me, it really solidified that like, yeah, numbers now, it means something different. Back then, people took their follow seriously. Like, they didn't just like throw out followers like all willy-nilly. Now it is, if a person likes one video of yours, then they'll follow you. Back then, it felt as though if they liked one video, they would also go on your page, watch a few more to see if they really liked you, and then they'll follow you, which did equate to a more genuine connection or relationship between the creator and the fan, especially with apps like TikTok. TikTok is really fast-paced. It's really like you're just endlessly swiping, and you can watch one video of a person having a bad experience at a restaurant and them telling their story, and you like the way that they handled the situation, so you automatically follow them. And it's like, oh my gosh, what? If you look at my Instagram, I don't follow a lot of people because there isn't a lot of people's content that I genuinely want to see all the time. I take my follows really seriously because whenever I am on social media, I want to ensure that the content that I am consuming is good content and content that I want to look at. I don't just follow people just for the sake of following you. Irresponsible with platform. Yes. Gross. I think that's also like my other beef, or my other like gripe with content creators now, is they are so irresponsible with their platform. Mind you, back in the day, you can say that they were too. They were doing really problematic things, making very questionable videos, and that is true. And you know what's like interesting about that is because I see that all the time. People are like, content creators back then, they're problematic, they're crazy, and they're da-da-da. And while that may be true, I don't recall so many like public like disruptions. I can't explain it. I watched a documentary, I guess, regarding Twitch, and what's the other one called? Oh no, Kick. And those people on there, and I was shocked. The things that people do to become successful now, or to become popular, or for exposure, is insane. And then when they get the popularity or the exposure, they are so irresponsible with their platform. They say they promote the way they act, they enable bad behavior, and mainly because children are watching them, because there are no television shows for kids anymore. So, you know, kids are watching influencers, and the influencers have just such a gross personality, and it's really dangerous. It's not even on the sense of like, we need world peace and we need to donate, and we like, not anything like that, but just like simple etiquette, being a decent human being. they lack that as well. And obviously there's a lot more like good content creators, but I am just noticing the culture that is around content creating now is just so. Older influencers were just better. Fight me. Sometimes problematic, most deaf, but it was a different time. That is true. And people hate hearing that. It was a different time, but that is true. The things that are not okay now, it was okay back then, unfortunately. Which is funny because it feels like we were more progressive back then than we are now. Right now, it feels like we have lost all of the plots. I stand 10 toes down for influencers back in the day. They had life. They were themselves unapologetically. Problematic, yes. You kind of knew what you were signing up for. Like now, people are shocked when their favorite influencer content creator is racist, or when they have a racist past. Back then, you kind of just, you know, you saw what they posted, you're like, am I okay with that? I think I am. I'ma still watch. Or you see it and you're like, uh-oh, was that a slur? I don't think I want to follow you, and then you don't follow them, and then you keep it pushing. Now it's not like that. I miss the days of older content creators. I miss the days of true creativity. I miss creative content. When I don't follow trends, no one sees my content. I don't really follow trends, or I'm always late to trends, which I actually love, but I feel like that in some ways keeps me being myself, and I love that. Whenever I see creators, big or small, complain about people not watching their content, I'm always like, well, but why are you doing this then? Are you doing it solely for money and just to be seen? And if, you know what, if that's the new wave, then that's just the new wave, and I don't agree with it, and I don't think I will ever subscribe to that. I think if you want to be happy making content, your why has to be rooted in you genuinely liking the hobby, whatever passion you're trying to share with the world. Your community will find you. Yes, if you just be patient, continue to put out content that you love, do hobbies that you love, your community will most definitely find you. Do not be scared to be yourself. Do not try to fit into boxes that aren't meant for you. Your audience will find you. Influencers are celebrities? No. Influencers are not celebrities. There's only a few influencers that have crossed that threshold. All the creators that I see on TikTok and Instagram, they are just content creators and influencers. That is a hard world to penetrate, the celebrity world, and many influencers just they cannot penetrate that. Will content creating last? Of course, content creating is not going anywhere. It will never go anywhere. What may change is how people consume content and what type of content attracts people. That will most definitely change. I think we're leaning more into people are desperate for creativity. They're desperate for authenticity, genuine authenticity. So I think that aspect of content will most definitely change, but don't worry, to my newer content creators, myself included, it is not going anywhere. But again, stay true to yourself, okay? Do not feel pressure to be like everyone else. That's boring anyway. True creativity. Be creative. I am desperate to see more creative people. Animation, original thoughts, funky outfits, whatever the case may be. That's what I want to see. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any thoughts, comments about content creating, influencer culture, let's talk in the comments, but be nice. Okay, I will see you guys in my next cute little chat, and yeah, bye.